What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is Dan Whitehead, and this is my second video about my new photo project, People of My Life. It's a film project, a photo film project, black and white film project, whatever you want to call it. And I thought with this video I'd kind of go over some of the gear I'm going to use, kind of just for me as a checklist, but also just so you guys can kind of see and follow along. And let's get started. Right off the bat, my camera of choice is my Mamiya RB67. I picked this up within the last year. I can't remember exactly when. I think early summer, from a guy on Facebook Market. He was able to ship it to me with this giant backpack full of stuff, filters, expired film, black and white film, which was really kind of cool. I've been kind of dabbling with that a little bit, and a bunch of just other like reading material and things like that, which has been really great. And I've been playing around with all that kind of stuff. So what's good about this camera is the medium format negative. The bigger negative, which means a higher quality image. It would give much crisper, sharper results that I think are just going to come out really, really well. And this camera, I think, is just the one to do it. So to use it, you would open up the top, and you can just view down into the viewfinder here. You can also add the magnifying glass, which gives you that finer, zoomed in approach so that you can really hone in on your focus, get it tack sharp. Focusing is right here on the sides. All your settings are dialed in on the lens. Nothing is dialed in on the body. The only thing the body provides is a place to put your negative, which of course goes in the back, as I mentioned. I can't show how to load it because I already have some film in here with the first two pictures already done, so I don't want to mess with that at all. I'm using Kodak Tri-X film for the first about 4 or 5 people, just because it's what I had when I started the project. But going forward, I'll be using Ilford film, which I have right here. And I'm going to shoot this at box speed, just one for price purposes, and two just for ease of light metering and figuring out my lighting and settings and all that kind of stuff. It'll just be easier to shoot at box speed. So it's a 400 speed film. I think that's more than appropriate for the project that I'm doing. And Ilford really makes a high quality black and white film, so I just picked it, and it was also cheaper than Kodak, so got to go where the money is. One thing that I'll be using quite a bit, and that's just to avoid any kind of shake to the pictures or any kind of movement in the picture, is a trigger release. These are great to avoid any of that, like I said, kind of movement, especially with these lower shutter speeds that I'll probably have to use if it's a little bit darker out. This avoids me having to even touch the camera. I simply just push in the plunger, and it sends this little guy out here into the shutter, and it fires the shutter. It's also great if you wanted to use bulb. You would push it down and turn this, and it would keep the plunger in until you release it. So that's really cool. I have a couple of these. This one's probably my favorite just for how easy the trigger moves, but definitely a valuable tool. For metering light, I have 2 light meters. This one is probably going to be the one that I use more so. I just picked this up. It's the Sekonic L308XU. It's a digital light meter, which is really cool, and it'll give me all the information that I need. And something to keep in mind is a camera like the Mamiya RB67 is completely manual, so there's no light meter, there's nothing auto to put on. You have to figure it all out for yourself. And so this would allow me to get an accurate reading of my lighting situation. Compared to most cameras that do have a light meter, they have a reflective light meter, which means they're taking a reading of the lighting bouncing off your subject. This will be the lighting bouncing onto the subject, if that makes sense. So if I took a reading right now at f4, which is more likely what I'll shoot, more actually a 3.8 because my camera doesn't have 4, the closest being 3.8. I would have a shutter speed of 1/30th of a second. So again, something that slow, you're definitely going to want it on a tripod, and that trigger release will really help make sure that I avoid any kind of shake to the image. As a backup light meter, I got this one a few weeks back. This one is a completely analog light meter, same thing, Sekonic Studio Deluxe 3. It's kind of the old school style of light meter, where you kind of still dial everything in, and you have to kind of turn the wheel to your settings and find out your shutter speed and exposure and all that through that. So this is a backup one. I'm more likely going to go with the digital one just because it'll be a little bit quicker, and I'm hoping a little more accurate, especially for someone that's new to light metering. I don't want to have to be kind of dealing with these knobs and readings and all that kind of stuff. And on film, you can't check it. Those are my 2 light meters. For lighting, I'm going to be using either natural light, my new Aputure 120D Mark II, or a combination of the two kind of thing, and just depending on the situation that I'm in. I can't really show you the light because it's being used to shoot this video, but it's a really high quality light. You're able to dim it and work everything from a remote, which is really great. Makes it way easier, especially when you're operating by yourself, to be able to change lighting on the go and not be right next to it. And I've been using a umbrella to kind of soften the light. Similar to what I have right now is probably something similar I'll use for the images themselves. So this will give you kind of a good idea of what we're looking at, except that of course it'll be in black and white. Very customizable too, but more on that probably in another video. The last thing I'm going to be using, and I haven't totally decided if I'm going to use it, but I have it. It came with the backpack, is a photo log. So it's something to keep track of the pictures that I'm taking and make sure that my settings are marked down so that if I decide to post these pictures anywhere or put them in a book and anyone that wants to know or I want to know, I have it written down and a nice record of what I shot, how I shot it, all that kind of stuff. As I mentioned in the previous video, I'm not going to see the images until I'm pretty much done getting everybody that I want to get. So it won't be like I see the first round of images and then they influence how the second round looks. I won't know. In fact, I'm probably going to keep the finished rolls in a little pouch right here, and just, you know, keep them all together, and then once I'm ready, I'll send them all out at once to be developed and processed and scanned and all that good stuff. And then once they come back, of course, I'll make my selections. But that'll be down the road in a later video, in a later session, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty excited about the project. As I mentioned, this week coming up, I'm going to be shooting between probably 2 and 5 of my friends to kind of check them off the list, which will be exciting. Hopefully I'll keep up this momentum and get the rest of the people that I want to get. So thank you for watching this video. Hope you liked it. If you did, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, like this video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.